Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and let's talk a little bit about the new supercomputer Frontier. Oak Ridge National Labs here in the United States, with Department of Energy (DOE), have announced the newest supercomputer that shall be completed in 2021, called Frontier, and this is going to be a huge deal, I think, for AMD in the supercomputing space, because AMD has kind of been out of it. But let's kind of go through a little bit about this supercomputer that has been announced. It's going to be 1.5 exaflop performance, so they're talking about the exascale of computing now, and Cray is going to be basically putting it together. 2021 is when it's going to be finished. It's going to be basically 7,300 square feet, and that's about 2 basketball courts just underneath. It's a $500 million contract with another $100 million in software, and they're going to be using Cray's Slingshot interconnect to connect them all. And basically, with the bandwidth availability there, it's going to be 1,000 or 100,000 movies, HD movies, that can be downloaded a second. So yep, a second. And it's also going to be weighing 1,000,000 pounds. So that's kind of a little bit about the background of this new supercomputer. And they're going to be using it for research, for science of weather, subatomic structures, geonomics, physics, and other important scientific fields. So that's kind of what the DOE and Oak Ridge National Labs is kind of focusing on. And it's going to be just a huge place to basically, for scientists and engineers, to do a lot of research on it. And I'm actually excited to see what may come of this as well. But the more important part of this, I think, is the contract side. Cray got the contract, but then AMD, and they're providing AMD Radeon Instinct GPUs as well as AMD Epyc CPUs. And listening to Lisa Su, it kind of sounds like it's a custom AMD Epyc CPU for this supercomputer. And if it is, that kind of speaks to some of their semi-custom stuff that AMD works on. And for me, looking at this, it looks like AMD is finally getting back into that high end, right? AMD kind of lost out on a supercomputer last year. I believe it was late last year or maybe early this year, to Intel. And with Intel being kind of there's nothing wrong with Intel. Intel's been great. They've been having high performance products for so long. AMD's just been absent in this. And so now having it where AMD can kind of go through and say, hey, Epyc is now getting into a situation where we are back into high performance. We're winning supercomputers contracts now, finally, after being out of the business. So it can be another marketing thing for AMD and help them gain some market share in the regular Epyc server-side processor market, competing with the Xeon. And that's where I kind of see this going and helping it out. For their side of business. And this is going to be, I think, a good thing for AMD. Now, I like competition like everyone else, but right now AMD's been so cash-strapped for so many years. Having them win something to be able to compete in it is a great thing. Having Intel win this one would be just have AMD had to work harder to break into that market and show, basically they're showing everybody now that AMD Epyc CPUs are ready for prime time. They're going to the world's largest supercomputer. Hopefully it'll still be that in 2021. The one big thing about this, though, is the AMD Radeon Instinct GPUs. And I didn't know that much about the Instinct and how well their compute performance is. You hear about them, they go against, a lot of NVIDIA. NVIDIA talks their stuff up like crazy. Everyone's using a lot of CUDA. But ROCm is doing some really great stuff here with the Radeon GPU stack, and getting that to work very well with compute. And AMD, Vega is a compute-heavy card. I got Vega in here. I mean, it can really run compute when I do it. And just taking, the new Radeon 7 stuff and what they already have in Instinct line with the MI, 60s, and what they're able to do there, that shows a lot about what compute can do and what AMD can accomplish. And with a lot of the custom stuff that they're going to develop, I'm kind of hoping that it makes it back into some of the software side stack of the open source side of ROCm. Hopefully I got that right. And that we can start utilizing it, because what AMD kind of said the innovations here for the system is that it's a future generation of high performance compute, artificial intelligence, high bandwidth memory, that would be on your Radeon Instinct cards, extension mixed with precision and for optimism of deep learning. It's going to be a custom high bandwidth, low latency, coherent infinity fabric connecting 4 Radeon Instinct GPUs with 1 Epyc CPU per node. And then it's going to be an enhanced vision of open source ROCm, so I did get that right, programming environment developed with Cray to tap on the combined performance of AMD's CPUs and GPUs. And I bet you that's also going to be leveraging some of their interconnect stuff, the Cray interconnect. That's why they're working with Cray to make sure that it communicates and works basically very efficiently on this. Because a lot of these supercomputers, if you code up, like they can code all the cache, they can code all that stuff, and really get a great performance out of each layer that they need to get out of. So overall, I really like the news that they're going with it. You know, if it was Intel, it'd still be huge news. United States is trying to get back as the top supercomputer out there, so that's, you know, big news in itself. But one of the other things, though, with this is I just feel like it's a good step forward for AMD to show that off and showcase their technologies and what people are able to accomplish, and hopefully that will then translate into more sales, helping AMD make a little bit more money here to help them out R&D even better and better products. So with that, let me know what your thoughts are on AMD winning this contract, or about the supercomputer in general. It'd be great to let them know. And let me know if you think that this is actually going to help AMD, or maybe, you know, it doesn't really do that much for them. So with that, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to help grow Gray Overload in this channel. I really appreciate it. You guys are great. And until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.